There's a great poem by Nayyirah Waheed. It's called For We Who Keep Our Lives in Our Mouths. It's sort of like this idea that you can be so full of things to say and have so much to say, but it's really, difficult to get the words out. My name is Elise Arancio, and I'm the composer of Bite Your Tongue for Orchestra and Tape. As I was writing the piece, I was thinking, how does it feel, inside of your brain when you're trying to say something or you have a lot to say? It's very sort of, I think, disjointed. So in the orchestration, in the orchestra part, there are these little sort of fragments that are very different from each other, but they all feel, I think, sort of urgent. I wanted to make sure they seemed, as different to each other as possible, so you can highlight the sort of jumping around in your mind and how you can go from one thought to another thought to another thought, and then sometimes it all comes together, and then sometimes it devolves into static and you're not really sure what's going on, or you feel like you're drowning in your thoughts.
Elise Arancio's piece, frankly, is kind of terrifying. I mean, it's about suppressing ideas. It's about someone who doesn't feel they are able to express what they need to express. So there's something about it that's stifling and really unsettling. There's a tape part, an electronic tape part that goes along with the orchestra, that's intermingled with what the orchestra is doing, and it's a kind of scary piece, really. And she does it very, very beautifully. As the audience member, you never feel comfortable. You never feel like you're on solid ground with this piece, which is what she wanted.
I worked with a singer, my friend Sarah Fleisch, she's a soprano, and I asked her to make the sounds that would make up the electronic track. So it's a lot of beginnings of words and consonants and breathing and, gasping and things like that. We had everything set up to be sort of played on this MIDI keyboard, so all of the tracks were programmed into the keyboard, so there's a percussionist pressing a key and it correlates to a track that you'll hear. So he's cued by the conductor and he plays it.
Shut. Shut.
What's wonderful is that she uses the orchestra in the same way as the words that are not quite finished, everything that is chopped up. And she underlines that in the orchestra. And that's a brilliant move, I think, of hers, because there's a long section where the chopped up words is underlined exactly with the same rhythm in the whole orchestra. And it just continues a little too long for it to be comfortable for the listener.
I grew up in Atlanta, Georgia, to a non-musical family, but I started piano around 4, and I started playing viola around 4th grade, and that became my main instrument. So I was in youth orchestra, chamber programs, pretty much anything that involved playing viola, I was in it. That really shaped my love of music. The path of composing, it's sort of like you don't know where you're going until you're there. Like you sort of have to keep moving towards what you're passionate about, which for me is composing, and I'll be at Yale next year to do a second master's degree. I also started writing, short stories and things like that the past few years, and I'm hoping to sort of develop that craft as well and continue to incorporate a lot of text in my music and see where that relationship can lead me artistically and just sort of moving forward and seeing where I go. Having the Minnesota Orchestra perform this piece, it feels almost surreal to hear it being brought to life by such amazing musicians. You know, it really affirms what is exciting about being a composer.
Shut.